And here we go. Welcome, everybody, to the Life Between All or Nothing. I'm Scott J.
I'm Mary Kay.
And we are your hosts for the show. I hope that we can give you some information that'll help you make the necessary changes in your life for you to be happy. And that's what we're talking about. Just being happy, no matter where you are in your life, no matter what age you are, no matter what you set up and what you've done, there's never too late for you to make a change and to get happy and to do something that you've always wanted to do. Stop making bucket lists and start doing things, right?
Start filling the bucket.
Start filling the bucket.
Start filling the bucket.
You know what? Just kick that bucket. Kick the bucket. No, don't do that. No,
don't do that. Don't do that. Fill the bucket. Fill the bucket.
Yeah, I never liked that, the bucket list thing. It's like if you really wanted to do something, I love it. Our friend Rex, Rex always says, like, you don't need motivation because if you really want to do something, you would do it.
Yeah.
So if you want something, you're motivated to get it. If you're not motivated to get it, your problem isn't motivation. Your problem is you don't want it. So,
or you don't want it bad enough.
Or you don't want it bad enough.
Yeah. And, I actually have a sign up on my bathroom mirror that says, "How bad do you want this?"
Yeah, exactly. And, and that could be anything. How bad do you want, how bad do you really want your job? Or how bad do you want to keep going on in your relationship that you're in? Or how bad do you really want, everybody wants to go lose weight. I want to work out. I want to be fit. Well, that's the easiest thing in the world to do. You know what you do? You go to the gym, you work out. The formula is simple. You don't need
there's a blueprint. There's a blueprint that you can follow. Yeah.
It's called sit-ups, it's called walking, it's called running, it's called lifting weights. It's very, very simple. And everybody's like, oh, I got to motivate myself again. If you really wanted to, you would have done it. Something's been holding me back from going all in on exercise, and I'm not sure what that is. But that's my own personal thing. It's not about motivation. It's about why don't I want it bad enough? Why don't I think that, and so that's a personal thing you got to talk about. Hey, Sandy Mom is with us.
Oh, hi, Sandy Mom.
And we've got Karen Harley. Hi there, you.
And hi, Karen.
Yes. Some of our favorite peoples. All right.
Yes.
What we're talking about today, Mary Kay, is self-care. And the message being self-care is not selfish. When you say the word self-care, what comes to your mind right away when you think about self-care?
For me, man, going into the woods, like that's my getting out into nature is my go-to self-care thing. And because I see you have on here, self-care is not selfish. Many years I struggled with that and saw it as something selfish for myself, although I told other people to do it.
Absolutely. Chris Rosh is with us. Christopher, how are you, my friend? Hey, beautiful souls. Glad I caught you between insanity.
Oh, man.
Chris, are you talking about your insanity or our insanity? Because they're probably
all of us
in sync.
Yeah, we're all in sync.
And of course, Lynn's with us. Hello,
and
beautiful friends.
Lynn. Hi, Lynn. I couldn't read it, but I could see Lynn's beautiful face.
Yeah, right there. There she is.
Aww,
she's got her rock star pose going there. Oh, this is my friend Janine. This is Janine Stella. She is like a podcast genius. I'm actually meeting with her tomorrow. And she's over at a place called Pixelworks in Delray. You know what? I'm going to get some information and we'll share it on the next show about the stuff that she does.
But
I'm looking forward to meeting with her. They also have some of my art hanging up at their place and everything. So it's really neat. It's a neat thing.
Beautiful. Oh, thanks, Janine, for joining us.
Thanks for joining in. And Chris is saying it's been a crazy week and it's only Wednesday. Actually, today's Thursday.
No, it's Thursday.
There's where the insanity comes in. It's Thursday.
I think Christopher needs some self-care, I think.
Janine says, I love it. Podcast genius. You are amazing. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. And Jean is with us.
Oh, nice.
Jean Ritchie, one of our loyal followers. And she says, hi there. There you go.
Hi, Jean. Hi, Jean. I love it. I love it.
Chris says, huh? It's Thursday.
It's Thursday.
And self-care is a must. Thank you, everybody, for just jumping right in.
Yeah.
Shake. I knew that. Brain fart. Boom. Okay. Without self-care,
oh boy,
we lose track of what day it is. We got to take care of ourselves.
Oh my God. Well, I was gonna say,
my new favorite saying to myself is, you can't wait for life not to be hard to be happy.
Ooh.
Oh, I love that.
That's quotable, Sandy Mom. That's quotable.
That is quotable. You can't wait for life not to be hard to be happy. I like that.
Yeah.
I like
and
that.
and we do, you know what you said at the beginning of the show about the bucket list? That's what the bucket list is. The bucket list is like, I've got all these 100 things that I want to do in the future when life isn't as hard. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do them now.
Like, why are you going to wait? Yeah. The thing is, if I really want to skydive, which by the way, I don't.
Yeah. Me neither, just for the record.
I don't, because everybody says, oh, it's on my bucket list. I want to jump out of a plane. You know what? I'll tell you what. I'll put that on my list of the last thing I do. Don't even give me a parachute. All right. I'll just do that. I got no reason to jump out of a plane. But, it's like, why are we putting that on a bucket list? Just go jump out of a plane. If you're that insane to do it, then go do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, life, you don't have to worry about life being hard jumping out of the plane. You got to worry about how hard the ground is. That's what you got to worry about. Oh my God.
Oh boy. We started off with a giggle fest here, yes. I think. I think so. You asked me, what's when I hear self-care, what do I think of? Scott, what do you think of when you hear the word self-care?
I think of music. Just the first thing that comes to my head is music, whether listening to music, playing music, reading about music. I got a book about Woodstock that I just pull out every once in a while.
Oh, cool.
Just music. It's something for me that I know immediately, no matter how my day is, there's certain songs that come on that I could just change my mood. It's a shift. I mean, we've all had that experience. I think I've talked about this before. You're driving along and you're having a bad day.
Yeah.
And, you're worried about the bills. The kids are pissing you off. This is happening. That's happening. Bad day at work. But then that song comes on the radio or on your playlist, because nobody listens to radio anymore. They all use their playlist.
That's right. I do. Yeah.
Your favorite song comes on, and no matter how bad of a mood you're in, you find yourself singing along. And I know that works for me because I'm driving along and all of a sudden that song comes on and I'm like, come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Oh, yeah, that's your favorite.
Yeah, well, hey, Barbie Girl by Aqua. It's a classic. Check it out.
Yeah, it feels good.
It makes me smile. It makes me giggle. It makes me feel good. And the funny thing is that if you just break that mood for a moment, when the song's over and the mattress commercial comes on the radio or whatever happens next, and you go back to being upset, you're not quite as upset as you were. You took that moment, that breath, going outside, getting a breath of air for you. I think what's great is the fact that we know what our self-care is. At least part of it. We at least know this is the thing that I know I can go to. There's so much more to it. Mm-hmm. There's so many people out there, Mary, that don't. If I ask them what does self-care mean, they don't even know. And that's the sad part, I think, right?
Yeah, it is sad. And I think it's not something that we're taught. I think it would be wonderful if self-care was part of the curriculum. Maybe it is now, I don't know. But when my son was in school, there was no self-care teachings. And I think, self-care can help us with our physical health. It can certainly help us with our mental health and our perspectives. And there's just so many benefits. And you're right. We don't pay enough attention to self-care or even like you said, even know what it is.
There is, you know what? You are so right. We are so concerned with, first of all, I love like the 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Yeah.
And first of all, anybody who understands reading and writing wouldn't have wrote the word arithmetic
Yeah.
with an R. So that's out the window. It's a fucking false premise from the beginning because it's wrong.
It is. It is. Yeah.
We're so concerned with our education system, but what we're learning now is that we are now suffering the consequences of not teaching people about mental health and about self-care and about how to ask for help and how to get help. We don't teach that in the schools, and now we're paying the price because we've got millions of people out there that are lost, hurting, that are mentally unwell, who know nothing about what they can do to help themselves or how to ask for help or what to do. And we're paying the price for that now. We're getting the stuff that's going on is ridiculous.
You're so right.
Just to have the healing power of music. They're going to cut a music program, but they're going to keep other things in schools. When they don't understand the healing power of music, Chris actually just wrote it. Singing is proven to change endorphins.
Yeah,
Chris,
our brain chemicals.
I'll take it to the next level because I actually did a research on this with some people, and it lights up 9 different parts of the brain light up with music. There's not a drug on the planet that lights up that much of the brain. It lights up more because it's got all these components to it. And it's got rhythm is one thing. It creates memories. It creates fantasy. You got to remember lyrics. If you're snapping your fingers or playing guitar, that's another part of the brain. It lights up all those parts of your brain. And it is the most therapeutic thing on this planet. And we don't do anything with it. We don't teach people how to do those things.
And a lot of those things are free, right? Self-care.
Oh my God.
I mean, you don't have to spend any money on self-care activities. There's so many things that we can do. And yeah, you're right. We just don't. Oh, I just saw a comment come up.
Jean is with her granddaughter. Her granddaughter just said Mary Kay is Ariel. You are
Ariel. Is that a cartoon? Is that a cartoon character? I don't know who Ariel.
The Little Mermaid.
Oh, the Little Mermaid. Okay. My son watched Finding Nemo. Oh, I'm very happy. Thank you. That's definitely a compliment.
Yes.
I love that.
So I mean, I don't know where do we go with this? We need to. I don't know. This is like one of those moments, those old, I'd like to buy the world a Coke,
Oh, yeah. I love that.
I'd like to get everybody together and hold hands and say, you wouldn't need a lot more help if you learned how to take care of yourself better. Everybody's still going to need help, and there's certain things. But if you learn to take care of yourself a little bit better and feed the things that create a better you, there wouldn't be so many problems. You wouldn't be so much stress. There wouldn't be so many things going on.
A healthier you. And on that note, I have a confession to make.
Oh boy.
Yeah, about self-care because I've had some pain in my ear for the last year, maybe around that.
That's about how long I've been talking to you, so I understand. I'm a pain in her ear.
Not that kind of pain. And you know what? I finally went to the doctor today. So I think, so self-care, one thing that I would ask everybody that's listening tonight and in the future to this podcast is tune in to your body, tune into your thoughts, tune into your physical self, and pay attention because our bodies are machines, right? So if something is a little awry, say it's your car. There's something wrong with your car. You're probably going to hear a noise or something, or a light's going to come on or something. We pay attention to those things with our car. The oil light comes on, you take it in and you get an oil change.
Right.
So
right.
I think getting better at being self-aware so that when you're on the road to burnout and not standing at the brink of it, looking into this dark hole. We really need to get better at our self-awareness to give us the signs to go and do some kind of maintenance. And so that's reactive, right? There's also preventive, and I'm sure you have some ideas on the preventive benefits of self-care.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Jean was right with you. She said, "Amen."
Amen. Yeah.
Therese has joined us. Hello, Therese.
Therese.
How are you? Taking that time for myself, I think helps me better deal with work, kids, dealing with the public. LOL. She works in a doctor's office too, and that can be very stressful. And that,
Of course.
most of the people you're meeting are not in the best mood because they're not feeling their best. You've got to be extra, nice. And if you're not taking care of yourself, it's impossible to do that. Let me see. Mayor Solomon's with us. Mayor, thank you so much.
Oh, Mayor, so good to see.
I know. She's a brilliant woman. Thank you so much for being with us. All of you guys. They're fantastic. So, self-care, when you reach a point and you're in tune with yourself and you start to feel like you're out of sorts, you've got to understand what your go-tos are.
Yeah.
Simple go-tos. Too many people. What we got? Janine saying, great stuff. I need to go edit. Talk to you. Yeah, go back to work. Go back to work.
Bye, Janine.
I'll fill you in tomorrow on what you missed tonight. All right. Janine, take care. Thanks for joining us, darling.
Oh.
I think it's important that we recognize it. And it's simple things. I think a lot of people get so wrapped up in this self-care thing. It's like, well, I've got to book a whole day at the spa. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. And you can actually create more stress trying to set up your self-care. You know what I mean? I
agree.
Being in tune with yourself is just knowing sometimes when to sit quietly, when to sit down and do a crossword puzzle or read a book, when to take a walk around the neighborhood or spend a little extra time with your dog or with your kids or whatever it might be. But if you can't figure those things out, when you're starting to feel stressed, if you feel like there's nothing you can do to relieve that, you're lost. You need to find you. Mary Kay, you just said it great. You got to know yourself. You got to feel what you're feeling and be present and mindful about what position you're in. Mm-hmm. And know the things that make you smile. You know what makes you smile.
Make a list, right? Make a list of your go-to things. Make a list.
Don't make them complicated. If it requires days of planning, that's not what we're talking about. Listen, we're not talking about a week's vacation in the Bahamas. We're not talking about that. If you want to go do that, that's fine, but that's a vacation. Self-care is about daily maintenance of self. It's about taking care of you on a daily basis. Getting away from it all is a wonderful thing, but the daily, it's every day. What do you do in the morning? What is your morning routine in the morning? Let's start with that. When you wake up in the morning, I've got a routine that I love my morning routine. I get up, I drink my coffee. I do a little while of the news because I always check the news first, because if the world ends, I'm not going to work. All right. So I always check the news, see the weather, sports, different things. So that's about a half hour, maybe 40 minutes. And then news goes off. I kind of start getting ready for my day, but the music comes on. And music is played for at least an hour before I leave my house.
Nice.
I used to be the guy who got up and had 20 minutes to get in the shower, brush his teeth, brush his hair, drink my coffee, get out the door. Still wet from the shower, getting in the car, driving to work. And that was miserable. I found a routine where I build my time in the morning to do things that I like to do. And I start my day my way. And that's self-care right there. It's finding those little things, right?
It is finding those little things. And like you said, making it part of a daily maintenance routine. And sometimes you might have to add some more because there are things going on and you need to have that break for your body and your mind.
Yeah.
For me in the mornings, I come downstairs with the dog, put the coffee on, let him out in the backyard for a little bit, grab my coffee, go out there and join him. And my music at that time of day, because it's, just after sunrise or just before, is birds. The birds singing. Oh my God. I feel like I'm the most privileged person in the world just sitting there listening to them. It's such an amazing way to start my day. And when I can't start my day that way, like when it's raining, I miss it. And then I do go to music. But every day I look forward to that. Even in the winter, because they're here, the birds are here even in the winter, in the snow.
See, now the amazing thing is you go outside, you hear bird songs.
Yeah.
And because that's what it is. It's all bird songs. It's music.
Mm-hmm.
It is music. And it's tonal, so it's music. And you go out and you hear that and it calms you. Now, Therese, I know Therese won't mind me telling one of her secrets because it's not a big secret. She's terrified. She's terrified of birds. So for her to go outside and hear all those bird things, she'd be running to her car like ducking and diving like she was going on Omaha Beach during the invasion, right? But she has her things she does. You know?
Everybody, and you're right. So everybody has their things. And on the topic of birds, I actually saved a bird's life last week.
Did you really?
It smashed into my window and I saw the vertical drop and I picked it up and I put it in a box that was kind of like a box on its side because it was a little bird. I don't really know what it was, some kind of finch maybe. And the poor thing was so stunned. It was so stunned, and I didn't want to leave it out for it to, recover just in case some other big bird came and decided it was going to be breakfast. So yeah, we sat there. I looked at him. He looked at me. I sort of like touched him a little bit. I didn't want to poke around like too much. Yeah. But he seemed to be fine. And then he finally started starting to puff himself up and just sort of move his head a little bit. Awesome. But there was lots of eye contact. It was great. So then I took the box over to a place where maybe he could get up into the tree. And that's what he did. And he flew away. And I was just so happy.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Now, the cool thing is even just having those moments and keeping them with you.
Yeah.
Don't just do something great and then forget about it. Keep that stuff with you. Because sometimes when you start to get stressed, sometimes just sitting back and saying, I wonder how my bird's doing. And just taking that moment can bring you back and bring back those feelings. And I don't think we do that enough. I don't think there's enough, kind of like looking back at our past and, even remembering a vacation when you were a kid or something really cool like that. And smiling to ourselves. It's like we become adults and we put all those childish things away and we don't smile anymore and we just got to make money and we got to be serious. Yeah, screw you. I can't live that way. All right, let's see. Sandy Mom says she turns on classical music loudly and does art in her studio. Jean says some vacations are more stressful than working. 1,000%. I agree. 1,000%.
I agree, Jean. Yeah. And I'm not a big traveler myself.
Much to the apologies. And, once again, I'm probably going to spend the rest of my life apologizing to Therese and other people in my life, my kids and other people. I don't do vacations well, and I don't like them. And I prefer to work than go on vacation. And that's not nice for the people around me, but I apologize. And
I like staycations. I like staycations.
Teresa's saying correct about the birds.
Oh, about the birds.
All right, Teresa. Well, we'll ask you. I have a feeling I know what your answer is going to be. But what is it? What is your go-to for self-care for you? We got Sandy says she turns on music. We had Christopher Roush a little while ago saying music is his go-to, like me.
Yeah.
So what is your go-to for a little bit of self-care, just on that, in those moments or on a daily basis? What is your go-to on that? I think I know what it is. It's planning murders.
That's for sure.
Not committing them, just planning them. No, she loves those murder podcasts and the crime shows, and I think that's probably her de-stressor, which is other people would be like, oh, I can't even listen into that stuff. But it relaxes her. So, but I don't know if that's her answer, so I'll let her answer.
So while we're waiting for Therese to input her answer into our comments, I have a question for you, Scott, because of the nature of the business that you're in and your experience with recovery and sobriety and people that are coming into the centers to start their recovery.
Yeah.
What are there aspects in the programs that relate to self-care? So are people being taught self-care for when they finish the program and they're back out on their own? Like what can you say about that?
There's a lot of attempts to work on self-care, and they certainly, they start with some real basic things. they start with some real basic things like, you know, I got a friend of mine who has this toothbrush therapy that he does. You know, every day you get up and you do these things. It's part of your self-care.
Mm.
You read something inspirational, you brush your teeth, you make your bed, you pray, you do things like that. And so it's like, well, what's making your bed have to do with self-care? Making your bed, let me tell you what it has to do with self-care. When you get home after a long day and you walk into your bedroom and the bed is made and it's neat and it's crisp, you feel like somebody cares about you. And then it strikes you.
Yeah.
I was one who I care about me. And it creates, no, it's a great thing. It's a horrible feeling. I mean, there's people out there that never make their beds and they're just constantly a mess. And there's times when I run out of time and I don't make my bed, and I get it. But most of the time, I even still put the decorative pillows on. I think it was, you know, years of being with women that I just learned.
Yeah.
I got 48 pillows on my bed. I sleep with 3 of them, you know. But I don't know. I've just been trained. But that's part of self-care, those basic things. So we try to work with that because those basic things are absent most of the time when somebody has been suffering with mental health or addictions.
Right.
They forget about the basic things like self-care on a physical level of taking care of yourself, eating healthy, sleeping properly, doing those kind of things.
Drinking water. I know Christopher Rausch would jump in with that one. He's always talking about staying hydrated. Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, here's Karen. Waking up before the sun's up, quiet and beautiful. Yeah, she likes doing that.
Yeah, Karen, you're my sister.
Walking. She was walking before the sun's up, and you know, she waits until it just gets to that point where it's light enough out so you feel safe.
Yeah.
But you got the sunrise, and she walks every morning during that. You know, my father started walking every morning, 5 miles a day every morning. He started he started that 6 months ago. We don't know where the hell he is now. All right, let's see.
He's in Los Angeles.
Therese says, my morning routine for sure. Get very irritated if interrupted. Sometimes music or podcast or just a drive.
A drive. Oh, yeah, Therese. A drive is good too. I forget
Therese,
about that sometimes.
What a fantastic thought that is. Why doesn't the drive to work become one of your private quiet times or your good times? Put something on that you like to listen to, or if it's a nice day, roll the windows down and let the air hit your face, or do something like that. Everybody's like, oh, driving to work, it's horrible. But then there's other times when you just want to go out and take a drive. Maybe if we shift our perspective a little bit and turn that drive into one of our moments, right?
You know, you're absolutely right, Scott, because that just brought a picture into my mind about what was that comment before I go on?
She says, who pushed you into making the bed every day? You did. You did. You did. If I didn't get up in time, she was making me in the bed. No.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Okay, going back to the drive and making a drive.
Yeah.
Pleasure and fun and part of self-care and part of changing your mood or stoking your mood, right? With good stuff. So as you know, I drive my dad to dialysis treatments, and it's a very early morning drive. And sometimes what I do when I remember, is, especially if there's cars around me playing music, I will car dance to their song. And they crack up. The drivers beside me always think I'm crazy. Or I'll put down my daisy rimmed glasses. They're rimmed with a bunch of daisies. They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
And just having fun. Like it's the music, it's the drive, it's having fun, it's making my dad laugh to keep his spirits up. And then it's making other people laugh too that are watching me. Part of their self-care. I'm contributing.
I love that. Jean says, since she hasn't been working, rearranging her bedroom actually relaxes her. You know what? I mean, that's kind of a cool thing. Sometimes if you're feeling a little stressed, change your environment a little bit. And it doesn't have to be buy new furniture. Sometimes it could be move the ottoman over there or move this over there.
Decluttering.
Decluttering is good.
So I've got this one corner on my counter that right now has a bunch of things on it, and I can picture it, and I can feel my I don't know, it bothers me. So I know if I go declutter that corner of the counter, I will feel lighter. It will just be something that's sort of hanging over my head all the time. So I might as well go deal with it.
Well, as a guy who half of his house is guitars in a podcast studio and the other half is an art studio, I got clutter everywhere. But it's clutter that is a work in progress.
Exactly.
I live in an artist space, and that's the way it is. Oh, here we go. Sandy Mom says, actually, your mother tried to get you to make your bed every day too.
Yeah, that didn't work, Sandy Mom.
Yeah. No, I had to wait until later in my life. The women really scared the hell out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had to start. All right, so let's talk about self-care. Some things that we don't think about as self-care.
Okay.
Any kind of exercise. Okay. I'm going to give you the top like 8 things here that are really good about self-care. Any kind of exercise, a quick walk around the block, getting fresh air, doing something. Gene wants to know how the weather is down here. It's 81 degrees and it's hot and it's sticky. Okay.
Well, it's hot in Canada too, just so you know. I'm
really?
just east of Toronto, and we had our first heat wave today. So
is it swimming in the pool weather?
Oh my God, yeah. The pools, I'm sure, are lukewarm or warm. Yeah.
Wow, that's really
too hot for me.
Oh, the poor mooses up there.
Poor mooses, my poor dog, he was like, I'm not going for a walk. Are you mental?
All right, so get some exercise, do something. One of the things I have at work is I got one of those desks where if I'm sitting down, I could work, and then after a little while, I'll raise the desk up and I can stand and work.
Oh, I just bought one. I just bought one of those.
Oh, those things are great.
Someone has to put it together for me, though.
I'll be right there. As long as it's warm, I'll come up to Canada. I'm good with that.
It's warm. Come now.
So anyway, yeah, doing something like that is, oh my God. In Rochester, it was 87 degrees, and you're just across the lake from her.
Yeah.
So yeah, wow. That's crazy. Anyway, any kind of exercise, do something, move your body in some way. It doesn't have to be, I know, what people do is they get on and they find this thing where it's like, you could work out like the Marines do and the P90X. Yeah. You're going to get the P90X and you're going to order this thing. You can't motivate yourself to walk around the block once a day, but you're going to do what the Marines do to train to get fit. Don't do that shit to yourselves. You set yourself up for failure. Just simply
start small.
Do something and do something you like. If you don't like walking, don't walk. Do something different.
Yeah, I agree.
But move. Another thing is eat better. Eat healthy, regular meals, and hydrate. Hydrate is on here. Chris Roush, we got you. Hydrate is on here. But regular meals. Try to stay on a schedule with eating so that your body creates a schedule. Because if you're always constantly off your schedule, then your body doesn't know when it's hungry or not. Sometimes we end up eating even when we're not hungry.
Yeah, that's me. I'm guilty of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something that happened yesterday. I went into the store because they have this sushi guy that makes sushi, and on Wednesdays it's like half price, and I always get my sushi.
I love it.
Yeah, it's half price sushi. Anyway, and as I walked in the store, I saw something I have not seen in a long time: ho-hos.
Ho-hos.
Ho-hos. You know ho-hos, right?
Yes,
Hostess
they're
ho-hos?
like in the packets. Yeah.
Yeah. I see Twinkies. I see the cupcakes. I see all these other things. I never see ho-hos. And they were sitting right up front, buy one, get one free, these boxes of ho-hos. And I went up and I picked up one of the boxes. And I hate to say, I didn't even care if anybody was looking. I smelled the box.
Did you? Oh, my God.
And I almost bought it. I almost bought it just because I think it was just like a month ago. I was telling my business partner, Karen, I was saying that, it's funny. Hostess, whatever happened to ho-hos? They don't even sell them anymore. I never see them. It was the only one I really liked. And now I see them and I could have bought them. But I took that moment and said, this is preventative self-care. Because as much as I might enjoy eating them right now, I'm going to be very sorry I did it. I'm going to be very disappointed in myself. You know, I understand. Listen, if somebody's having a little piece of cake, I'll have a small sliver. I'll do something like that. I'm not totally freaked out about having a little sugar or a little bit of carbs. I'm not freaked out. But to buy the 2 boxes of them, and I know what I would do.
Yeah, you would eat them. I would.
Oh, they would be gone in a day and a half.
Yeah.
And I would regret it for days. And so sometimes part of self-care is to think about, is this really what you want? Is this really what you truly want to do? And I really didn't want them. I was just almost programmed to grab them. And I did not, but I did not buy them. So it is part of eating healthy.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Take care of yourself.
I'm impressed because I had Burger King on Tuesday.
I know. Oh my God, Ho-Hos, love them. Can't find them anymore. I know, Therese.
Oh,
Winn-Dixie, buy one, get one free boxes. I could ship them to you. They'd be melted.
Ship them to Therese.
They're leaving heat and going to heat. They're going to be melted by the time she gets them.
I just spilled my
snowball pastries. You know what? You talk about candy or cookies, and people just jump on board.
Oh yeah.
They call Ho-Hos Swiss rolls now. Oh no, that's Little Debbie calls them Swiss rolls. Those are Little Debbie. Hostess,
I like those
Ho-Hos. Too. And they probably don't sell them anymore because the name Ho-Ho is offensive to people.
Is it?
Well, if you're a hoe.
Took me a second to clue in. Oh my God.
So exercise, eat healthy, sleep. Make sleep a priority. And that's something I'm bad at. And that's something I'm working on now. And I'm still trying to figure out what's going to work best for me. But I do not sleep well at all. I do not sleep on a schedule. I'll fall asleep after dinner for an hour on the sofa. Then when I go to bed, I'm awake until 3:00 in the morning. I sleep for 2 or 3 hours, then I get up and go to work. I just that's something I need to work on. But people need to make that a priority.
Yeah, it's a priority for me. It's that one I'm extremely committed to. Is getting my sleep. So 7 hours a night. For sure. Wow. Sometimes I get 8. I know.
Wow. I'd have to be in a coma to sleep for 8 hours.
Yeah, no, my body needs it.
I want it desperately. I really desperately want it. But every time my head hits the pillow, the circus starts up, the monkeys start running around, and I'm just, it just doesn't work. And I've tried nutrients. I've done nutrients. I've done other things and all this stuff. Yeah. And it just doesn't work.
Wow. Okay. I can give you stuff to read. That'll put you to sleep.
I probably should read because when I can't sleep, I'll watch TV or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
A good way for me to fall asleep though is to watch some murder show or something or mystery, because I will guarantee I'll be awake if it's an hour-long show, I'm awake for 50 minutes. And I always fall asleep in the last 10 minutes. End. And I wake up in the morning and say, what the hell happened?
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, well, hey, Jean's making a good point. Be careful about sleep. It can be an escape from reality for depressed people too.
Oh, Jean, that's a really good point. That's a really good point because, and I'll reveal this because other people might be going through it. Hitting menopause last year, I thought I had escaped a lot of the symptoms. I had some minor things and, the hot flashes, and then things kind of went away. Recently, I find myself going towards sleep. So if I'm taking a break, maybe my lunch break, I will head to the couch, I will lie down, and I will sleep for an hour. And there's an element of depression to menopause. Not everybody experiences it, but I'm experiencing it right now. And I really feel it because I'm usually the other end of the spectrum, right? I'm usually the bouncy person. And, I know it's due to hormones and things like that. And it's serious, but Jean's right. I think that we can use sleep to hide from the stuff that's going on. So it's something that I've just become conscious of. So I'm glad Jean brought it up.
Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with having shutdown time, because we talked about this last week,
yeah.
you and I think it was off air though, that I had just a crazy like 2 weeks straight. And so last weekend I said, pretty much at least for one of the days, at least for Saturday, I'm turning off the phone. I'm shutting myself down. I'm just going to like be stupid and watch old movies or do something. And that's what I did almost the whole day. I fell asleep a lot. I just chilled. I didn't.
Yeah.
I was actually in my bathrobe until like 2:00 in the afternoon, just kind of chilling, drinking coffee, watching. And it was like so neat. But if that becomes a daily routine, or if I was doing that because I've been so busy, I just needed a break. Yeah. But if you're doing it so that you don't have to do anything, that becomes a problem. So sleep is a priority, but it's a schedule. And if you start to go over your schedule too much, you may want to think about pulling back on that a little bit. Make sure some of your activities are relaxing too. Don't make everything high energy. Learn to do some relaxing. Well, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm going to go self-care. I'm going to walk up Mount Everest. And it's like, you know, how about just a walk in the park? Okay. You know, every once in a while, it doesn't have to be extreme. And that just teaches you to be calm in calmness, or to be okay in calmness. So, oh, wow. Randy Horvath has joined us. And Randy,
Randy.
I believe he still lives in Albany, New York. And he was my childhood friend from when we were 10 years old. 10 years old? Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. And my oldest daughter, Hillary, is with us. Hi, guys.
Hi, Hillary.
Probably watching with Hazel and Jake, my grandkids.
Oh, nice.
Hi, guys. All right. So let me go through a few more of these real quick. So make sure you do some relaxing activities. Set your priorities. You know, if you get busy, like you've had busy days and weeks, I've had busy days and weeks. We've all had them. Going into them without a certain like level of priority to what you're doing can really hurt you. Sometimes taking care of yourself is to look at all the stuff in front of you and say, I know I got all this to do, but if I do it this way, it's going to be easier on me. And take a moment and just kind of, you know, prioritize what's got to get done and then do it that way. Don't just look at everything all at once all the time. That'll drive you freaking crazy, right?
And on that note, Scott, you're absolutely right. Prioritizing and deprioritizing as well. That's another thing to do, because sometimes you know you've got all these things to do. Just, you know what, deprioritize them and say next week, or delete them even.
Not everything has to be done. And not everything has to be done by you.
Exactly. That's exactly right. You can automate, delegate, or delete.
Donna Fahey's saying hi to us. Hello, Donna.
Hi, Donna.
Right. And okay. So Sandy Mom just turned into Sandy Grandmom because she wants to say hi to the great grandkids.
Aww.
Okay. You know,
and I bet Hillary.
Talk to us. Don't talk to them. Talk to us.
I bet Hillary having two kids, and I don't know how old they are, but having two kids, you know, how do you schedule time for self-care when you're a mom and you've got these kids? It's like, I know for me it was, okay, I'm going into the bathroom by myself. That was part of my self-care, and I would have a book, and okay, fine, so I'm in the bathroom 20 minutes. Well, that was my self-care time.
I know Hillary was doing like yoga and taking time to do that. She's got a husband who's very supportive, and he helps with the kids when she needs time. Or at least that's a story I've heard.
Beautiful.
But I know there's things. So Hillary, if you could let us know, coming from a younger person. Oh, here we go. Hillary, I am sitting in the kitchen right now while Adam puts Jake down. It's my 20 minutes right now. See?
Way to go.
That's a beautiful thing. And, you know, for some people, it might be sitting and having a glass of wine. You know, again, that's the kind of thing where it's like, don't make that all the time, because then it becomes your escape becomes your problem. But
Right.
Let us know, Hillary, when you really need to take care of yourself. What is your go-to for that? Is it your exercise like it used to be, or do you have new things that you found? And I know that she's like a great mom and loves spending time with her kids. You could tell it lights her up, but you still got to take care of you too.
And have a little bit of downtime.
Chips and queso.
Oh man, I'm hungry. We're talking about ho-hos. Now we're talking about chips and queso.
Okay,
my stomach's growling.
Priorities. Not everything has to get done. Okay, two more things real quick. Focus on positivity. Being positive is not something that happens to you. Being positive is a choice you make. I want people to know this. It's easy to be positive when everything is coming out rainbows and puppy dogs. If every day you get up and the birds are singing and the sun is shining and you go to work and they say, we're giving you a raise and take the rest of the day off. And it's easy to be positive on those days. But when the other days happen, when you get stuck in traffic and, your family's annoying you and this is happening and you go to work and you're having a problem, then you've got to bring your own positive.
Yeah.
It's not just going to be it's not just going to be created. And practicing that gratitude and positivity, it's a choice. It's an absolute choice. When you wake up in the morning and you're doing your morning routine, make part of your routine to say, you know what? It's my choice. I'm going to have a good day. Look who showed up. Our man, Jock.
Jock. Hi.
All right. So you know what I'm saying, Mary Kay? If you want to be positive, you can't wait for good things to happen to be positive. You've got to be positive so that you can start to manifest the good things that you want in your life.
Yeah, and it's a struggle sometimes. I mean, I'm the queen of positivity, and there are days that I really have to remind myself that I've got that choice to be positive. I've got that choice, and I'm going to make that choice now, and say something positive and optimistic. Right? I think optimism is more my thing. That whatever it is, I'll be okay.
But optimism is positive. I mean, Sandy Mom just followed you right up with that in saying being positive takes a conscious effort sometimes. Sometimes you got to decide. And I want people, if you're miserable, first of all, let me tell you something. No one can make you angry. It is not possible to make another person angry. You can annoy somebody, but if they get angry, it's because they chose anger as a response. Because if my best friend comes up and slaps me in the back of the head and says, screw you, I'll turn around and I'll see him and I'll laugh. But if a stranger walks up and slaps me in the back of the head and says, screw you, I turn around and I get angry. The exact same circumstance, what happens is my brain looks at it and makes a choice about how to react. Anger is a choice, but so is happiness. And so is positivity. And it's not always easy to make that choice because sometimes the go-to is negative. Easiest word in the English language is no. It's the easiest word in the world. No.
And
and we be positive.
But we do, speaking of the word no, like we do need to learn that word too, because I think, I know part of my self-care is honoring my boundaries, stating my boundaries, whatever those might be. So in my work calendar right now, I went ahead and put into perpetuity after 4:30, Mary is out of the office. So nobody can book a meeting in my calendar.
That's brilliant.
After 4:30. Because
I should do that. Before
you know what?
Anytime before
helps.
noon and anytime after noon 15. In perpetuity. No. I'm
boundaries.
Glad you did that.
Boundaries.
Because it's reasonable for you to do that.
It's reasonable, yeah. It's a reasonable thing. And boundaries, and even having what's the word? I can't think of the word, but I'll say it a different way. Accepting help, not being too proud to accept help, not being too proud to ask for help.
Yeah.
That I have struggled with that one all my life. And then lately I've been able to ask for help and ask to borrow other people's positivity. In some cases, it's like, hey, listen, I'm not feeling it.
I often told clients when I was teaching in centers, you know, I love you guys, and if you don't love yourselves, I got enough. You could borrow some of mine until you get your own. And sometimes, it's funny because you're saying asking for help and then kind of like borrowing from other people. Sometimes I need your positivity to help me out, because I get a little bit stuck and I just need a little. And that's why the last thing on this list about self-care, and probably the most important thing, stay connected. Listen, I could disconnect from the world, but I still have to be connected to my my life force, my family, my friends, the people that I know. That's my life force. Because without them, what am I going to be able to do? What am I going to be able to do without new ideas? We don't learn anything unless we learn it from other people. Because if we could do it on our own, what would happen is a baby would be born, it pops out, it lands on the floor, we hand it a Webster,
website.
It bounces off the bed and lands on the floor. We hand it the Webster's dictionary and say, learn English. And we could walk away and come back a couple years later and the kid should speak perfect English. But he can't, because knowledge without demonstration doesn't help. Access to knowledge without understanding does not help. And we need that from other people. So when you're doing self-care, remember not to separate yourself completely from everybody. Taking a break is fine. Separate. And plus, if we start to struggle and we separate from people, it becomes almost impossible to show back up and ask for help.
So I do that. I separate, I isolate, I hide, basically. And I can say, and I don't know if they're still watching here, but 3 people that came onto the show today. So Jacques Okoye, Christopher Rausch, and Mayor Solomon all check up on me. I spoke to Mayor the other day. Jacques sends me messages. Christopher's constantly checking up on me, because they know that I'm going through a bit of a rough patch with either my health or my mental health or whatever. I don't even know. And that I tend to self-isolate. Right? Like, forget the pandemic.
It's beautiful when you have people in your life like that.
Yeah, I do.
You don't have to talk every minute, but well, you and I, we reach out if I don't hear from you.
And I,
or sometimes just a silly message or something. Just have a great day and a smile and a heart.
I appreciate you and all the people that I mentioned, and
Teresa
family that reaches out.
Teresa and I, amazingly, we do the same thing, and it's just like every once in a while it'll be like Happy Hump Day, and thank God it's Friday, whatever. And sometimes it gets into conversation. Sometimes it's just checking to see if you're still there. Lynn and I do the same thing. Lynn Serrano, it's amazing. We don't talk. We might not talk. We might text a little bit here and there, and then all of a sudden we end up on the phone. We talk for 2 hours about nothing.
And the phone too. Actually, Lee Height, who we had on the show as well.
Yeah,
he phoned me today because something that I had said in a message, and he wanted to check on me and make sure that I was doing all right.
Stay connected. Stay connected.
Yeah.
If you choose to separate yourself from the people in your life that are important to you, you don't have to stay connected to everybody. God knows I can't. I mean, I don't.
No, I can't.
I just don't like that many people. No, but I got enough people that I want to know that I can reach out to them without having to go through that walk of shame. Is like, God, I haven't called them in 6 months, and now I need something from them. It's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to.
But even if, because I do have some friends that we don't talk that often, and it might be 3 months before I talk to them, I'll still send that message.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm still going to send it. Sorry, I haven't been in touch. How are you doing? Just want to know, want to go for a walk?
Yeah.
Something like
and those are good for those are good for reconnecting and for reminiscing and for keeping like relationships going. But you need that kind of group of people that kind of know who you are.
Yeah, for sure.
You need those people who know who you are and where you're at. They don't have to know every stinking thing about you and the dream you had last night.
Yeah.
But they should know if you're struggling. And you, because you as a friend would like to know if your friend is struggling.
I
and sometimes we think, I want to help you, but I'm not going to let you help me. Well, that's awful goddamn selfish when you think about it.
Yeah,
Because
and I am like that.
For me to help somebody else is a reward. I get rewarded when I help somebody else, but I'm not going to allow you to get a reward by helping me. Let's think about that. Let's get some comments in here real quick, Mary Kay, because we're running out of time.
Oh my God, we're running out of time.
Jacques, we have to care for ourselves before we can offer to care for others. Healthy you makes a healthy us. Fantastic.
So right, Jacques.
Jean's making a point. Sometimes no is the best word for you at certain times. That's right. Drawing lines and having boundaries, of course. Let's see. Kellen Ann is with us. And I love this.
Kellen.
Fantastic. Thank you for joining us. Thank you all for sharing those things. I got to tell you, though, I'm going to give you real quick Reader's Digest. Here's some things that are not self-care. Okay. Putting yourself last and taking care of others first. That's not self-care.
Oof.
Putting yourself last and feeling guilty about taking care of yourself. That is not self-care.
Are we scoring me on this?
Self-care should not be an occasional pampering or treat. It should be a regular practice. Okay. It should never end up on a to-do list. It should be you do it, not on a list somewhere where it's like, okay, after I get done with all this other shit, then I can take care of me. It should not be that way. You treat it as a solitary pursuit. Not all self-care is a solitary pursuit. Sometimes including people in your self-care and including family and friends in your self-care can actually be even better, because then you get to share your passion with somebody and you start to recognize just how wonderful the things are. Your focus is self-improvement. If you're doing it to become a better person and all this, you're kind of looking, why are you doing all that? Do it because you just need to be okay. You want to take care of yourself.
Yeah. Your health and your mental health.
I got to take this next breath in or I'm going to die. Oh, I got to take the next breath or I'm going to die. Oh, I got to take the next breath or I'm going to die. You don't do that. You do it because it's a part of living. And that's what self-care should be. It's a part of living. And finally, self-care is not always enjoyable and easy. Sometimes self-care is doing the hard things so that you can let go of certain traumas or problems or issues that you have. Sometimes
you save the best for last.
Sometimes self-care is hard. But we know there's another side to it, and we just got to do it. And that's where you need your positive thinking. It's like, listen, I know this is going to hurt a little bit, but boy, I can imagine how much it's not going to hurt afterwards. Because, people, it's just amazing that we rob ourselves of so much time for ourselves, of so much caring for ourselves. And we're not talking about being selfish. None of this we've mentioned has been selfish. We're not telling you to take time away from anything else in your life. We're telling you just to make sure that your time is just as important as everyone else's time. Yeah. That's all we're saying. What do you think, Mary Kay? You think we covered it pretty good?
Ooh, yeah, we did. We did. And one thing that we did throughout the show was laugh. We laughed. We did quite a bit of laughing. And laughing is another one of my go-to things for self-care. I'll just find a funny video on YouTube. There's tons of them, tons of stuff.
Yes.
Whether it's funny cat videos or dog videos or epic fails or whatever, or stuff my son puts me on to. Just a good laugh, even by yourself, is fine. But just to break that state and break that pattern, right? Because when we get rolling down this negative thing and this negative life, even negative day, negative year, negative life, we just got to break that pattern.
We have to break the pattern. It's so important. Yeah. It's so important that everyone takes the time to take care of yourself. You're worth it. You're worth it. You've lived a life. You lived throughout the day like everyone else. You have your ups and downs like everyone else. You've made it this far in life just like everyone else. So why don't you deserve to be happy like you think everyone else should be why shouldn't you be too? I want everybody to take care of themselves. And remember, each day, do one thing nice for somebody else, two things nice for yourself, and you'll always have a successful day. Mary Kay, final thought?
Love it. Final thought. Yeah. Put yourself first. All the things that we've been saying. Hopefully you've been taking notes. If not, go back and make a list. I really want people to make a list. Just put 5 things, 3 things even. My go-to things for self-care. And stay in tune with your body.
Fantastic. Yep. I want to thank everybody for joining us. We'll be back next Thursday night at 7 o'clock. So make sure you join us then. Hey, subscribe, reach out to us. Let us know if there's a show that you want us to do or a guest that you'd like us to have, and we'll do our best to supply that. But for now, I'm Scott J.
And I'm Mary Kay.
And you've been watching The Life Between All or Nothing. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.